I'm Esmond with just one of the many prognosticators. I'm just one of the many prognosticators, pickers, people helping you become a better, which, last weekend, not so much. Had a couple of late wins, but overall, just sort of middling, a little more down than up, hoping to turn that around and expecting to turn that around this week when I start getting some of those lovely NOG numbers to analyze. Well, analyzed for me, actually, by one of the premier data companies in the world. Christian, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Another week of the NFL season down, and I think we had a very interesting week 5 coming in.
Yeah. Well, we're at the quarter pole, and I have issues. I have lots of teams with quarterback questions. Most important role on a football team. And let's go through it. Let's be honest. Russell Wilson looks like crap.
Yes,
The
he
Broncos'
does.
offense stinks as a result. Turns out he's been playing with a partially torn lat on his throwing side. That injury can linger for weeks. It can also get worse. It can become a complete tear, which would pretty much put him out. Until he's healthy, I'm going to have a hard time betting on the Broncos. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree.
Christian.
I completely agree.
All right.
Yes, I
Let's go.
completely agree. Russell Wilson has been
That game last
hello.
week. Thursday night football was horrible. Uh, and he
Yes,
just
it was one of the worst games.
yeah he missed some throws that I was just scratching my head going, what is he doing? Well, now we know why. He can't throw. Um, Speaking of another quarterback who can't throw, I'm worried about your Rams, my friend. Uh, Matt Stafford looked awful in the loss
Yes,
to
he does.
Dallas. I know Dallas has a ferocious defense. Michael Parsons is going to make a lot of quarterbacks look bad. But I'm starting to think that injury to Stafford's elbow is a lot worse than they let on during the preseason. I'm going to be real wary of betting on the Rams too much of anything unless I see a lot better out of Stafford.
I completely agree. Matthew Stafford is playing through a lot of pain. He's a tough guy, but this seems like something that's affecting him more than it's ever affected anything else in his career. He's played with a torn labrum, a minor tear in his meniscus, and another minor tear in his MCL earlier in his career, which he seems to have done uh, decently well with. But this tendonitis on his elbow has just been killing him this season.
He looks skinny to me too.
Yes, he did
He
lose some
doesn't
weight over the offseason.
he doesn't look as solid
Bulked. Yeah,
as
it doesn't
he
look
used to.
bulked. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's wrong. Speaking of things being wrong, Baker Mayfield is a disaster in Carolina. They just fired their coach. He's a coach killer. That's two he's gotten in like 5
Yep.
years. So Baker is officially a coach killer. Now he's going to miss a couple weeks with a high ankle sprain. And that leaves Carolina in the incapable hands of PJ Walker. If you've never heard of him, don't worry. Walker was signed as an undrafted free agent out of Temple by the Colts in, wait for it, 2017.
Oof.
Since 2017, he's thrown 6 passes in the NFL. Good luck, folks. Carolina's done.
Yeah, they're done. They were done since week 1. That loss to Cleveland killed them. It broke their back, and they're never going to recover for the season.
Let me ask you something. Would you be willing to trade Christian McCaffrey right now for 2 first-round draft picks or a first and a second if you were Carolina?
It depends on the direction they're going to. If they want to blow it up, yes, I think it's a great move. You can get some first rounders, even a second rounder in there to get some draft capital and rebuild. I think Carolina's front office is a little stubborn and thinking they can still win now. So I doubt they're going to do it, but
If it
I
was
think it's my
me,
decision.
if it was
Yeah,
me, I would be looking to move Christian McCaffrey, Baker Mayfield, and anybody else on that team that I could trade for draft picks because they need a
I
quarterback.
completely agree.
They need a quarterback. They need offensive line help. Their receivers have been disappointing, to say the least. They have not much of anything at tight end. I mean, I think Carolina is a total rebuild. You're taking that thing down to the studs and starting over. I would be moving everybody I could. Speaking of rookie quarterbacks that went high in the draft, because Carolina's going to need one, having your rookie quarterback throw 52 passes in his NFL debut is probably not ideal against one of the premier defenses in the league. But that's exactly what the Steelers had Kenny Pickett do against Buffalo on Sunday.
Yeah, they threw him in the fire.
He went 34 of 52 for a little more than 300 yards, but no touchdowns, and he did throw a pick. Look, the Steelers suck. Their offensive line is terrible. The defense is not as good as advertised. I have Najee Harris on my fantasy football team. He's doing next to nothing. They're in trouble. And they're another team that I think needs a lot of help. I think they're 3 or 4 years away at this point. Aaron Rodgers and his young receiving core can't get on track. Rodgers went 25 of 39 throwing in the game against the G-men for a meager average of 5 yards per attempt. Get this. Aaron Rodgers was outplayed by Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones threw for 213 yards on 21 for 27. Aaron went 25 for 39 for 207. I'm having a really hard time trusting the Packers right now. You?
Yeah, that's hard to wrap around my head. Daniel Jones played better than Aaron Rodgers. That's a tough one to say.
Dallas is feeling the rush with Cooper at quarterback. He's rolled off 4 straight wins. Think about this. Dallas was left for dead after they got crushed by Tampa Bay opening night and Dak Prescott was out. And now Dak is coming back. Or is he? Remember Jerry Jones said he would welcome a quarterback controversy? Do you think they have one?
They definitely have one. I was talking about this last Friday. It's very big possibility that Jerry Jones just says, F it and have Cooper Rush be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys for the remainder of the season or until he loses a game. It's very possible Dak Prescott might be out of a job in Dallas. And I think the Cowboys need to make a decision whether to keep Cooper or trade him now while his draft capital's up. If you want to keep Dak as your guy, trade Coop.
So here's the thing. There's a lot of money invested in Dak Prescott. And Jerry Jones has made a lot of noises about loving Dak Prescott. But he's going to be torn between, do I want to keep winning? And he's got an excuse. Oh, Dak's thumb, it's not quite there. It's not quite there. He can get away with saying that until Rush loses a couple of games. And I might not yank him if he had one bad game. I might let him go again. Look, if you're winning, I said at the beginning of the season, the Cowboys had lost a lot of skill at receiver. And
yes,
the team's strength is their running back. And I'm not talking about Zeke Elliott. I'm talking about Pollard. That guy, I think, is better than Elliott at this point. Dallas has a Super Bowl caliber defense led by Micah Parsons. If you let the defense play defense and you run the ball and play conservative, you can win a lot of 21-17 games with that defense. I'd keep him in. The Patriots won a game behind a QB who looks like he's 16 in Zappe. The rookie QB from Western Kentucky. He's got moxie. He played a great game in beating the Lions 29-0. He's got a QBR of over 100 in the 2 games. He threw for almost 200 yards against the Lions and has 2 touchdowns and 1 INT in 2 games. I'm not rushing Mac Jones back either. Jones looked a little regressed. And this kid has come in. They've adapted the game plan to be more run heavy, and he looks good. I like it. I wouldn't change him out either. You?
For right now, yeah, just kind of rode with the tide. You have two very young quarterbacks who are obviously great quarterbacks. Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler last season, so I wouldn't give up on Mac just yet. He's only around 23 years old, so I'll pump the brakes on that
No,
one.
I'm not talking about giving up on. I'm just talking about letting Zappy play the string out a while. So Mac Jones gets to be
Then yeah,
completely
as
healthy.
long as Mac Jones is out, let this kid play. Yeah,
I'm
let this
saying
kid play as
even
long
if
as Mac
he's
Jones out. The Patriots aren't
maybe
going anywhere this
healthy,
season.
like the Dak situation is similar to this in that, Bill Belichick can just keep saying, hey, he's not quite ready. Mac, he's not quite there.
Yeah,
As
you
long
got to
as this
make
kid
sure
keeps
he's
running,
really, really ready. I get what you're
we want to make
saying.
sure he's fully
Yeah,
healthy. There you go. Josh
yeah,
Allen is
I
an
don't see a
absolute
problem with that.
stud. Allen is
A
my MVP
beast.
right now.
I
Um,
completely agree.
3 touchdown passes of 70-plus yards yesterday. 1 for 98. That's ballsy. You're at the
Yeah.
2-yard line, and you throw a deep post to the middle of the field. Wow. Allen also is tied for the rushing lead on the team. He runs for an average of 8.4 yards per play and runs over linebackers. Loss against Miami was an anomaly. I think you're good betting the Buffalo Bills even against double-digit spreads. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'd never am comfortable betting on double digit spreads. That's just me. I'm a safe better, in my opinion. But if you're willing to take the risk on Buffalo, that is the team to take the risk on. If you want to take a double digit bet, do it on Buffalo.
Geno Smith has been a revelation. He's
Yeah,
outplayed your buddy Drew Lock in the preseason. He had a passer rating yesterday against New Orleans of 139.7. Perfect is 140. Geno Smith, who knew? Against Detroit the week before, his passer rating was 132.6. He had 3 touchdowns
yeah.
against the Saints. They lost but scored 32 points. They scored 48 the week before against the Lions. Are we underestimating Geno Smith and the Seahawks?
As much as I hate to say it, completely yes. Geno Smith has been one of the most underrated quarterbacks coming in this season. We all said it, even me saying he's done. I didn't think he was going to see week
I
five
was
at
like, the
all.
Seahawks are finished, and I live in Seahawk land. So it's been
I said the
crazy to
Seahawks
watch.
were going to win 8 games. I just picked the wrong
I said
quarterback. I
5.
said Drew Lock would be under center.
Yeah,
I
wow.
said Drew Lock would be under center.
Yep,
It's just Geno Smith instead.
yeah. Zach Wilson has led the Jets since coming back to 2 back-to-back wins. He's been solid, if not spectacular. But that running game, holy S. Um, the Jets running back rookie had almost 200 combined yards yesterday. I'm taking a lot closer look at betting on the Jets. What about you?
Yeah, the Jets are a team. Zach Wilson's a pretty good quarterback. I would be cautious, the old saying, never bet on the green slime because they will always bite you in the back.
It turns out the Jaguars were fool's gold. Remember, I told everybody, okay, let's
That
pump the
one hurts.
brakes after they beat the Colts 24-0 and handed the Chargers an embarrassing 38-10 loss in LA. They lost to the Eagles, which everybody kind of expected, and it was somewhat close. But yesterday, wow, they lost to the Texans 13-6. Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence threw 2 interceptions and no TDs. Barf. I'm off the Jags.
that was my mismatch of the week. I thought the Jags were just going to kill him. A stat I would have loved knowing before picking that was the Texans are undefeated against Jacksonville ever. So that's
That's
something
a
I wish I
weird
would love to
one.
know. Yeah,
Who knew? And then one of my more disappointing losses last week, I had the Lions over against the New England Patriots. The Lions were the highest scoring team, 35 points a game going into that game. And you know how many points they scored yesterday?
donut.
Nothing. Donut. How do you go from scoring 35 points a game to nothing? If they had just scored half their normal number of points, I would have had the over.
Yeah.
How? Now their defense did their part in allowing 29 points to the Patriots. They allow a league high 35 points a game. That performance against the Patriots has me worried about the Lions. I'll say that. All right, Loud
Yeah, I
Esmond here.
completely agree.
Christian joining me. It's been great, my friend. A little week in review, a lot of quarterback questions. This video is meant to sort of inform your betting based on some interesting stuff that we picked up from the weekend that was. And just take it under advisement. Use it in forming your opinions and your picks. I'm Loud Esmond for Winners and Whiners, trying to make you, and he's Cristian Giordani, trying to make you a better